Hey guys, I'm going to be reacting to Sypher's video about the state of Fortnite right now. I am relatively a new player. I started playing a little over a year ago, Thanksgiving 2023, with my nephew introduced me into the game. I think that was chapter 5 or late chapter 4 or something like that is when I started playing. And really don't know much about Fortnite's past. I only play zero build. It's something that's, builds kind of just beyond me in a lot of ways. And I know a lot of people play zero build. If you look at the numbers, tons of people play zero build. There's 250,000 players most of the time every night. So I'm just curious. I've seen a lot of people kind of react to this, but I'm going to give you my reaction to this. I'm going to speed it up just because the world doesn't need to have this all dragged out. But I'm just curious for an expert player. This guy's got 10 million viewers. I have 10. If that. So I just wanted to take a look and understand more. I don't understand that much, and I would like to understand more, so I want to hear this person's perspective. I've seen this video kind of pop up on my feed, but I haven't watched the video itself. So I'm just curious, and I want to give you my opinion on how I am viewing it from my perspective for a late player who hasn't been there from day one, somebody who's relatively new to the game, somebody who enjoys the game, who's spent money on the game, who I want to say I love the game. I've put in, about 400 hours into the game, so that's a long time in my head. But we'll see what's up. Let's check out what this guy has to say.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Sypher. Fortnite is missing something.
Yeah.
There has been a lot on my mind about the state of the game over the past few months, and I have a lot to say. So I'm going to be playing this solo match while pretty much just talking about how I feel about where Fortnite is heading and some of the good things and some of the bad things that is happening in the game right now.
Okay.
It has been a while since I've done a video like this.
Okay.
Because I've been so locked in on the content creation process, giving you guys content that you can watch and taking you out of whatever situation you're in, whatever's on your mind, and give you some entertainment.
That's
and hopefully,
cool.
In today's video, we can talk about a game that we all love, we all want to see succeed in a positive but still critical manner. So Fortnite, in terms of player count, in terms of the numbers, it's actually not in a bad spot right now. The player count of the game is actually super solid. You can look at the live player count, and we have had worse times in the past. We're getting OG seasons. We're getting constant updates. They're still putting a good foot forward when it comes to new updates. But the issue is that this game is 33 seasons old. The game's approaching 8 years. We have had 33 seasons of content, and each season of content has had, dozens of updates. So Fortnite is in a situation right now.
33. That's a nice way to look at it. I don't even know how many seasons are in each chapter, and I've just been in like one chapter, 1.5 chapters, something like that. So like 7 seasons. I've been part of like 7 seasons. I don't know.
That not a lot of other games have the problem. Not a lot of other games have this problem. You see,
Counter-Strike has been around since 1999. Since I was a kid. Counter-Strike. What problem are you talking about?
Other games, they don't update as often, right? So over the course of like 5 years, another game that is comparable to Fortnite will have a quarter of the amount of new stuff added to the game that Fortnite has added.
That's
fair. Because of how much Fortnite adds so quickly, it keeps the content fresh and exciting. But at the same time, we are now at a point where it feels like all new content added to this game is a remix of a previous concept that already existed, a reskin of a previous gun, a previous POI.
Now, yeah, that's true. My nephew's not playing this season at all, and his main reason is because he doesn't want to relive certain other chapters that he's already played. So he's kind of taken a break. And I've kind of just gone a little bit hardcore because I didn't have to, live through those seasons or whatever. But, vaults and things like that, he says, yeah, it's the same thing. And I'm like, it's not the same thing for me. But it's interesting what Sypher's saying here.
A previous mechanic, we have the vaults. We've had them plenty of different times before in the past. We have...
But the Mortal Kombat, is that new stuff? Is it new stuff? Come here. I don't know. Yeah, the chain. Even I've relived the chain. That's only like a year and a half.
Shotguns and ARs and assault rifles and all kinds of different weapons that we have had in the past, but these are quote unquote new, but in reality, they're the same. They just look different. And this is a very unique problem because Fortnite is one of the few games out there that updates as aggressively and as consistently as it has. And
true,
something that used to be a huge strength is sort of showing up as a little bit of a weakness in some of these recent updates that they put in the game. Now, I want to give credit where credit is due. The new exotics that they're adding this season, you can tell they're actually trying to think outside of the box of bringing us something that we haven't seen before with like the Rift launcher and the new Chug Jug and new assault rifles, new shotguns. But even then, when they are trying to bring something new, a lot of these concepts and mechanics of these guns have also existed in the past, and they are still considered remixes or just rebranding of things that we already had. On the other hand, because it's like, okay, are you asking them to stop updating the game? No, because on the other hand, when they take huge risks and they make something that really has never been done, we have situations like the car season in chapter 5, where a lot of people really were upset because Fortnite tried to go down a different path with the cars and the attachments and the overpowered vehicles. Half of the community loved it, half of the community hated it.
Yeah,
a lot of people did not like that. So like, keep it simple, go with what we know.
The cars were really fun when you were playing in duos or trios. They were out when playing in full squads. It kind of sucked. There was always like one person, two people that were like left behind, or you were trying to rock cars, so you could have two different turrets, and then you're sitting around trying to upgrade your car. So,
but what we do know is that when a game doesn't change, it eventually dies, no matter how good it is, and that's why Fortnite has lived for so long.
Counter-Strike. Okay. EVE Online. Okay.
So what's the solution? What's the answer? Is it all doom and gloom? Here's the thing. I don't think so.
All right.
I really don't think so. And I think one thing we need to start with is where Fortnite is putting some of its time and effort. Fortnite has been putting a lot of effort into creating a metaverse, creating these new modes with ballistics, with Fortnite Lego, with rocket racing, with festival. And they're a big enough company to do these things. But there is a little bit of an issue when it comes to the risk involved in these projects. And let me tell you what I'm talking about. For example, the way Fortnite is approaching a lot of the content that they add is they are basically testing if a concept is going to be good. So they gave us Fortnite Ballistics pretty much in a beta form, almost unfinished form with poor matchmaking and still some issues. And then they're deciding, should we invest more time into this concept? Now, in my opinion, Fortnite is big enough of a game and has had enough success to where I don't think they need to be giving us products that are unfinished or beta testing products that is kind of like a substitute to something that already exists. You have Valorant, you have CSGO, and then you have Fortnite Ballistics, which is kind of like a watered down version.
Yeah, Ballistics kind of,
those two games. Then you have like Minecraft and other survival games, but then you have Fortnite Lego, which also in its initial state and even now is still considered like a watered down, less content filled, less exciting version of Minecraft. You can do the same comparison with rocket racing and whatnot.
Yeah.
And what I'm trying to say is that when Fortnite invests time into these new modes, I feel like they're not leading the charge. They are copying the charge. They're copying the trends that are out there. Valorant is a success. We're gonna make our version without the twist. That's the weird part. It's like, where's the Fortnite touch? Fortnite Battle Royale became a success because they took the Battle Royale concept.
Valorant with, shockwaves.
And they added their own touch, which was the build mode and the unique look and feel of Fortnite. And that allowed them to be insane success. The problem is they're not taking that formula and applying it to these new modes. They're not taking that formula and applying it to the updates. It's like we're at a point where we're either just maintaining or we're just putting stuff out to grab some attention but not take any heavy swings. And I don't know the details, and I don't know how much time and money is invested into some of these projects. So I can't just be here like, no, you should make a better version of Valorant, or you should make a better Minecraft.
7 money.
But I do feel like the way we are going right now with these new modes and with where Fortnite is putting, a lot of their effort into, we are making game modes that already exist, but we're not adding the twists that makes Fortnite what it is. And obviously you're watching this game and you realize I haven't ran into a single real player yet. That guy might have been real. I'm not too sure if he was or wasn't. But this is also another topic that we cannot ignore anymore. Before I get into that, before I get into complaining more, because I'm not trying to complain, I'm trying to give feedback here.
You are complaining, but that's okay.
That the last video that I made about the state of Fortnite has actually done a lot of things on that video since then. I'm not saying that they did it because of that video. That video is pretty much just what the community was feeling for the most part, and what I'm seeing as somebody who is involved in the community, who has a big community around Fortnite. Those are not just all my words and my feedback. That's literally what I see you guys talk about in my streams and my comments. So from the last video, hit scan weapons have returned. People were not a big fan of the projectile weapon. Some people are, but I think majority voted to bring back hit scan. It makes sense because that's what most of Fortnite was hit scan for the longest time. And then one of the most popular modes, which is reload, is
this is why I play zero build. Focused. That's ridiculous. So, I don't even know what's going on here.
They brought it back, and it's what a lot of people.
I don't even know what's going on here. This is ridiculous.
That's a huge win. The second thing is, hold up, gonna reset here. The second thing is hackers. Now, I know some of you might disagree, but from what I'm seeing in tournaments, there is a lot less hacking happening in the game. And there's a lot more hula hoops that people have to jump through to hack in Fortnite now, which is all really good stuff, because literally the entire state of the game, the entire state of competitive will crumble if hacking is not addressed. And I do think that there's still a lot of room for improvement, but they have actually made, since that video, they ended up suing a hacker. They ended up adding more requirements for you to play tournaments. Every game out there struggles with hacking, and online games will always have a hacking problem, but they're making an effort. The live events and the story, they have stepped up. They have stepped up with the live events. They have stepped up with the story. Is it where it once was? Is the interest in the community there for the story? It's slowly building back up. It's still far away from the peak of Fortnite when a lot of people were actually interested in the story, but they have made strides towards improving that.
There's a story?
I think we'll have to see how it ages. But I think over the next year or two, the story content and the live events will just continue to get better. Now, when it comes to the Fortnite XP maps and, UEFN situation, there's still a lot of room for improvement, but at the very least, it's on the roadmap, and they are aware of some of the pain points, like, how important XP is for players, how there's ways to exploit the XP system, and how a lot of the maps that you see in Fortnite are still kind of like the same repeat concepts of zone wars, red versus blue,
zero
free-for-all
ping
style maps, and there's very few that kind of come out and are able to go viral.
I'm just impressed by the ping situation.
And I think the important thing when it comes to these maps, when it comes to creative, is to bring people to Fortnite. And right now, no map really does that. Besides, every once in a while, you have a map like, for example, the Squid Game map, which I'm not sure if they were allowed to use the Squid Game IP or not. That's a whole other story. But the Squid Game map brought people to the game. The Only Up map brought people to Fortnite. It's bringing outside people to download the game to actually make the game go viral. But there's only a handful of maps that have managed to do that. And some maps out there maybe have potential, but don't ever really get to see the light of day. But I got sidetracked a bit. So far, I've fought a couple more real players, but a huge problem right now.
Now, what if this is an idea? You know, the map changes every couple of seasons, or every season, or during the season. But what if when you load the game, it's like one of 2 or 3 different maps for the season, right? So like you land on a different island. That way you have a little bit of difference, what's going on. But if they keep the weapons and they keep the gear similar, then you're able to get better in that way. That could be an option. I think that's a great option, because sometimes I'm playing the game and I'm like, oh, I didn't play for a week, and I come back and the game's completely different, but the map's the same, or map's just a little bit different, but now this gun isn't here, that gun's here, and it's a little confusing. But I feel like it does update a little bit too much. But if they change the map, that would be kind of cool, honestly. Like if they change the map, is like every season was like 2 or 3 different maps. Maybe that's an idea.
Now in the community, and it has been a problem for a while, is the amount of bots in the game. And the reason why this is only going to get worse
Shut up, I like the bots, they make me feel cool,
unless it is addressed, is because Fortnite keeps adding new modes. The more modes they add, the more spread out the players are, right? We knew that was going to be a thing, but Fortnite has millions of players every single day. There are millions of people who play this game. There are millions of people,
yeah, and
who are playing at any given moment. Right now, 1 to 3 million, depending on the time. So they have the player count, but with everything split up amongst regions, and with the amount of modes we are getting between Fortnite, Reload, OG, LTMs, creative maps, Lego, Racing, Festival, all of that, and more projects that are coming out, ballistics and so on, they are filling the lobbies with more and more bots. And I don't know what kind of data they have that shows that the bots are helping keeping players on the game. We might be in the minority here. A lot of people don't even know they're fighting bots. I've seen them myself. I've seen really bad players, family members who are fighting on Fortnite. They're going against bots and they think they're fighting real players. So we really don't know. Bots could be the reason Fortnite is still alive. But I will say this, a lot of people are not happy. Even casual players who are not very sweaty, not very good at the game, are not happy with the amount of AI that they are fighting in this game. Right now, I'm playing at night. It's like 9 p.m. my time, Central. There should, I mean, you know, it's spring break. There should be more real people that I'm facing. I'm playing the main mode, Chapter 6 solos. But half of my kills are not even real players. They're not even real.
yeah, that's true. I always feel that. I feel like half my kills are bots.
This is something that's very tricky for them, because I understand the reason for bots. And there's been times where I've sat here and said, hey, bots are a necessary evil.
But when you play ranked, it's mostly people. Like when I'm playing ranked, I'm like, it's sweaty as hell.
It helps new players, but it is at a point now when I look at the content creators in the scene, the YouTubers.
It would be nice to know when you finish the game, or when you're playing, how many bots you actually interacted with, versus like now you're trying to guess. I'm like, Jimmy Bob 82, was that a bot? Most likely, but
and listen, you know, I'm not saying that we matter that much, but that's the community that I know. It's the people that I play this game with. So for me, from a personal perspective, I will speak on it. People don't really have a lot of content to make out of Fortnite, even though we're getting all these updates. The big thing is that the content feels
fair,
fake. The fights feel fake. You get the new weapon, you want to try it against some real players, and you're not even really getting to do that. The wins also do not feel like they used to because of these bots. So that excitement around the content as a result is also down from a viewership.
I'm gonna assume he's been playing for a long time, and of course you're gonna get diminishing returns on your dopamine when you're winning a certain game, especially if you're winning consistently, especially if you're not playing in ranked, especially if you're not playing in tournaments, especially if you're not playing in something sanctioned. So if you're just logging on and playing, like, what do you expect? You want the same high you had from 7 years ago? Meh.
Perspective from people watching the game when they're watching their favorite casual creator make content and play the game, they're not as excited because there's not as much risk, there's not as much at stake in any regular match. And yeah, you have ranked mode, but ranked mode is really divided by the ranks, and not all the people that I play with are in the same rank, and not all the people I play with are trying to sweat the entire time. So
yeah,
is it all doom and gloom? I really don't think so. But I think there are some key points that Epic needs to work on and focus on this year and next year to make sure that the state of the game,
bro, I didn't even see what he was shooting at,
and we don't end up losing this community. And I think this community is very important. We have been here from the very beginning of Fortnite, a community of people who are not just interested in playing.
I think to lose such a big community, two things need to happen. Fortnite needs to drop the ball hard, and another game needs to pick up the ball hard. And I don't see that happening. I'm not a game developer. I'm not, but that's what needs to happen for it to just really just tank. And I don't see that. Fortnite's very strong. It's one of the reasons I started playing. 2024 is when I was like, all right, let me really start playing this game and start learning it and start like getting strategies and things like that and start meeting people and adding them as friends and things like that. I used to play Counter-Strike. I played it since 1999. It's gotten boring. I don't play professional, and there's a certain satisfaction that I get from Fortnite. There's a certain silliness that I very much enjoy from it that I'm not getting from other games. And because of the way that Fortnite is, I like it in that fashion. Emotes and skins. It's fun. But again, like I said, I haven't been playing for that many chapters and that many seasons. So
in the game casually, but interested in engaging with content and engaging with communities that surround this game. That is us. That is you guys watching. You're not just a Fortnite casual player if you're watching a video of some guy talking about Fortnite. You are passionate about this game, some of you more than others. And I do feel like this community is at risk of eventually disappearing if the content direction doesn't become more serious, in the sense that
are you bush camping
real content updates
and complaining about people not playing?
Fortnite is leading the charge instead of reusing and rehashing what they've done in the past, and leading the charge in the sense that the reason Fortnite became a success is because they took a big risk on this building mode and put it with the biggest trend, which was battle royales, and came Fortnite from that. They need to get back to that kind of magic, that kind of sauce. The second part is making the games feel real again, making the games feel like they're impactful, that there's some weight to it, and you're fighting real players, right? Those are two huge key points that are still pain points that have not necessarily been addressed since my last video, and I feel like it's very important for me to talk about it. A lot of my friends, a lot of my fellow content creators, I see them struggling. I see them struggling in even playing the game because they were there when the wins really felt like exciting, when it really mattered, and their communities were there too. And it feels like it's kind of like a shell of its former self. Not the game, but the communities around the game. One clear sign that is the case, by the way, that I'm not just yapping for the sake of yapping, is what new Fortnite content creators have blown up in the last couple of years. And I'm talking about blown up to the millions of subscribers and hundreds of thousands of views, whether it's on YouTube or Twitch or whatever. There really hasn't been. You had Mr. Fresh Asian blow up back in the day. You had the X2 twins. Nowadays, the only people who really get a lot of attention, like new players that get a lot of attention, are competitive pro players, and it's really just tied to the competitive pro scene, and not a lot of them are interested in even making content. So they're just really just competing and creating a fan base on the competitive side of things. You have people like Peterbot and other names that have risen up.
You're not in charge of that.
Past few years, but when it comes to content creation, the level of exposure that is being given right now with the content being put out, and level of opportunities for people to grow is almost not there, and you see that. You see that because there aren't new faces coming to the game. There's only big creators that are slowly moving on from the game. You have people like Ninja taking a break from Fortnite. You have people streaming less and less, creating content less and less. And I do fear that if things don't get addressed, if we don't start seeing content that actually brings people and brings excitement back to Fortnite, where Fortnite is, you know, back to being the leader
builds
of
are
content
stupid
creation
as hell.
and adding new things.
Builds are dumb.
This community will. I'm not gonna say it's gonna die.
This is such
but
a.
this community
That's so
will just
retarded.
keep on dwindling down. But
I'm not making fun of people who play builds, but at the
same
same time, yes, I am. This is so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Just shoot each other and die.
They might act
or flank
very
each other,
slow on the
or
changes. Some of them do take time and are longer than others to implement. But Fortnite has been listening. I see it from the last video to this video. A lot has changed, but like I said, there are some very important things that cannot be ignored for much longer. And I hope you guys agree with me. I hope you guys are able to comment down below in a constructive way how you feel about the game. And hopefully we see some more positive change and some more strides towards making this game the best game it possibly can be in the year of 2025.
I want to keep playing.
Moving forward.
I just want to keep playing.
I hope you guys enjoyed hearing my opinion about this game. I'm still very much passionate about the game of Fortnite, even after...
You know, I think it's great. I still think Fortnite's great. Build mode's not my thing. Again, I'm not trying to insult build mode players. It's just, it's a different language I don't speak. And if that's what you want to play, that's what you want to play. I play zero build. I'm a zero build player, and the game gives me enough ups and downs for me to want to keep playing, for me to want to put a couple hours every week and keep trying to get better because it's fun. And you know, I've been playing for about 1.5 years. I haven't been playing for that long, you know, since the game's inception. A lot of people have, and I understand that. I respect that. I want people to enjoy the game and love the game. You know, there's other people play tennis, and tennis has been around for forever. Golf, they've been playing golf for forever. It's the same game. Baseball, they've been playing the same game. Football, it's been the same game. Soccer is the same. You know what I mean? So it's like, is it not fresh enough, or is it fresh and... I feel like this is too open in a lot of ways. I feel like it's too open-ended, and it's just, you know, it's not really being specific enough to address things. What do you guys think? Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you thought my reaction to this video was in any way entertaining or fun or interesting. I appreciate you guys so much, and I hope you have a great week.